So hi, I'm Karen. I just bought a house here in Orlando, Florida, and it's a beautiful house. I really love it. When I saw it, I had to have it. Went through the entire house, thought it was fantastic. This is just a little segment I wanted to put on YouTube as a caution to new home buyers to just be aware of what you're getting. You've heard the expression, let the buyer beware. Don't rely on just what you're seeing or what the inspector tells you in their report. Inspectors don't actually do certain things when they're looking at a house. Now we're coming in out of the entryway of my new house, and if you saw the wall here in the dining room, saw something a little strange. This is not something that an inspector typically looks for. They don't take a picture that's on the wall and take it off the wall to make sure there's paint behind it, or even, a hole in the wall, for example. But apparently, the owner of this house, when she got ready to do a new paint job on her house, she didn't take anything off the walls. So we're here in the next bedroom, which I'm hoping to use as like a workout room. And again, there's something that she had on her wall. I'm sure it looked great when we were here. It was probably a nice painting or picture. I didn't think to look behind it. Are you kidding me? Who does that? Isn't it much easier to take things off the wall before you paint? But apparently, maybe they were too heavy to take off the wall. So it never occurred to me that she would paint around them and leave me with these spaces that are different colors than the rest of the room. So again, you see it down here. I don't even remember what she had down here on the floor, but it's not something that we saw when we first did the viewing of the house. Now, the other thing that concerns me is that her listing agent, her real estate agent, had to be aware of this issue and yet didn't bring it up with my listing agent. When I talked to him about it specifically, I was told it's an as-is house. This is a used house. Yeah, well, he sold it knowing that these imperfections were visible in every room. Here's another example. I'm going to have to find a way to match the paint in every room. They did leave some paint in the garage, but it's years old. It's not likely to be usable. I may be able to go to Lowe's and find a matching shade of paint. I may have to paint entire rooms because my husband and I are the type that it will gnaw at us if we walk around the house and we see imperfections in the paint. We're going to know, okay, shoot, that's where we had to paint. It will gnaw at us until we either put something up in front of it or we end up repainting the house. And we certainly didn't budget for repainting the house when we gave the bid on the house, right? Otherwise, we would ask the listing agent for a discount. This is a master bedroom. This is where the master bed was, king size bed. And apparently they didn't think it was worth moving the bed before they painted again. Same here in the corner. This is where the TV cabinet was. And again, you can see discoloration. So the frustrating thing for me, and just my caution to new buyers to keep in mind, is that we didn't find out about these issues with the house until the day before closing. That's when you do your final walkthrough. Okay, so if the inspector didn't come up with it and you're living in a different city, it's very likely you're not going to see these issues until you finally come in for the final closing. One more room. Washer dryer room. Now, this one I can kind of forgive because, the washer and dryer are awfully big and hard to move and so forth. But again, when it's one of 8 or 9 rooms with the same issue, it gets really frustrating. So there's nothing I could do. There was no recourse that I had because basically the seller had me over barrel, right? She could just say, well, I just won't sell you the house then. No skin off my back. I'll get another buyer. But for me, if I backed out of the lease at that point, I would owe escrow money. I would be subject to higher interest rates. Interest rates are going up. It's mid-2018 right now. And I would have had to go live in an apartment for several months until my new home, wherever it is, was ready to go. So weigh that against the $500 or $1,000 it's going to take to cover up all these freaking paint spots that she left behind. And I was stuck. There was nothing I could do. So what I am going to do is post this video on YouTube so that new home buyers keep these things in mind. You know, the inspection, don't rely on it 100% as the end-all be-all of what is right and wrong with your house. Look at everything. You know, if you have to flush every toilet and look behind every crevice and so forth, do it. Because if you find these things on the final walkthrough the day before closing, you have really no recourse unless you're willing to walk away from the house and walk away from whatever money you put in escrow. So it was a tough situation for us. We bought the house. You know, I love the house. I just wasn't planning on spending that kind of money to keep it up. I mean, it's a beautiful house. And I'm looking forward to a great future in Orlando. But having no other option, felt that it was important that other home buyers understand, you know, make sure you look at everything before you make a determination on what you want to give for an offer for a house, because some of these hidden things kind of rear their ugly head, and sometimes you can't just paint over them. Thanks for watching.